Hello everybody and welcome to the series where AI reviews my old mixtapes. We're going to have a bit of fun here and look, I'm going to be using 3 of the AI bots. So we're going to go with ChatGPT, we're going to go with Gemini, and we're going to go with Grok to have a look and do a review on Mixtape 1, Uncommon Commercialism. So let's get into it. So here we go, we're going to be doing ChatGPT first. So let's say hello.
Hello.
Tell me about modern day poet, the Australian. Oh, I can't spell. Okay. Well, okay, so it's found me, that's good. Let's ask it about Mixtape 1. Publicly documented. Well, that's about right. Okay, it's giving me a whole bunch of blurbs, so it must have found some stuff on it. I think we just need to push in the right direction, so let's give it some information.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I've fed ChatGPT some of the information about the Mixtape 1, Uncommon Commercialism. Now we're going to ask it to write a review. So what we have here is what I've asked it. Follow the guidelines below to review the mixtape. Make it a fair, unbiased review, giving credit where credit is due and speaking of all of its faults. Don't be nice, be fair. Sound and production, lyrics and writing, performance delivery, cohesion and theme, standout tracks versus filler, originality and identity, replay value, best versus worst, context and overall rating. So let's see what it has to say. How it likely sounds. As a debut early mixtape, this is almost certainly low to mid-budget independent hip-hop. Basic beat selection, inconsistent sonic palette. More focus on rapping than polished sound design. Typical issues for projects. Yeah, it's all doesn't match. Conceptually, yes, the uncommon / anti-commercial identity usually aligns with raw, unpolished production. But here's the downside. Raw. Intentional polish, and early projects often don't fully control the aesthetic. Lyrics and writing. This track list suggests a mix. For the people, mic check 1, 2, conclusion, more emotional intent than fully developed lyrical complexity. Cool. Originality, strength. Title suggests personal framing and introspection. Themes like struggle, identity, emotion, purpose. Originality depends heavily on execution, not concept. Conceptually familiar territory. Originality would depend on specific storytelling. Wordplay, storytelling, emotion. Likely moderate. Probably strongest than Me Without You. This word likely keeps coming up in ChatGPT. This is very interesting. Performance, delivery. Inconsistent cadence, some awkward phrasing. Tone match, probably one of its stronger aspects. Varied energy, and titles suggest. Cohesion and theme. There's a loose thematic thread, but it's not tightly structured. Abrupt, intro, social track, rap showcase. Intentionally, you can see intention in naming progression. Thematically consistent. Standout tracks versus filler. Likely standouts. This word likely from ChatGPT makes me think that it doesn't actually review properly. But we're here with ChatGPT right now, so let's see. Likely filler, strong emotional core. Does he sound like himself? Yes. Even early track themes suggest introspection, identity, emotional framing. Likely strong here, nothing to suggest forced commercial pandering. The verdict, authentic, but still forming a distinct sonic identity. Probably selectively you'd come back to it. Emotional tracks, overall project. As a snapshot of early development, yes. Best track, Me Without You. Reason, strongest emotional concept, narrative potential. Reason, standard rapper, exercise track for mic check 1, 2. This is clearly an early stage, pre-polish experimentation, which it is. Mixtape 1 was an experiment. And look, I really enjoyed making music and that's why I do it. So it all started with this one here. Overall, 6.8 out of 10. Okay. Strong emotional intent, clear thematic ambition, but inconsistent execution across production, lyrics, and projection. So final honest takeaway, this isn't a bad project, it's a developmental one. The ideas are stronger than the execution, and the emotional writing is the clearest strength. But it is also uneven, and some tracks function more as practice rather than fully formed songs. Okay, so that's ChatGPT. I'm a little bit skeptical just because it says a lot of likely and whatnot in there, but it gave it a 6.8. So let's move on to Gemini. Okay, we are here with Gemini. So, tell me about one thing. Okay. Tell me about his first mixtape, Uncommon Commercialism. Uncommon Commercialism is often cited as DNA of his sound. It sets the stage for subsequent mixtapes, including Poetry and Purgatory. Okay, cool. Didn't find mixtape 2 then, but I found mixtape 3. Okay, so we're going to feed it the information like we did for ChatGPT in a moment, but hang on, let's see if I can find it. None of those songs exist on that mixtape.
Lies! It's not true. It's bullshit.
I definitely hallucinated that track list. Okay, it seems that Gemini is going to need help just like ChatGPT. We'll be back in a minute.
A few inches later.
Okay, so ChatGPT now has all the information. It's found its YouTube. It's found everything. Now we're going to ask it the same questions for the review as we did last time. Now let's see what it has to say. The sound and production. The mix, to be blunt, the mix is amateur. The vocals often sit on top of the beats rather than blending into them. The beats are a standard bim-bap fare. While they provide nostalgic rhythm, they lack the multi-layered complexity in professional studio albums. Okay. This is where the credit is due. MDP avoids the money, fame's car cliches common in rap. He goes for the opinion and what should I do, tackling internal conflict and social perception. Okay. So Gemini sounds a lot more, now that it's been given the information and checked out all of the songs and whatnot, it seems like it's picked up on a couple of other things. The struggling artist narrative. Apparently my wordplay is quite strong in the first mixtape. He's trying to prove he can rap fast, which occasionally leaves him sound like he's rushing to keep up with the beat. Yeah, that's a definite thing, which I did a lot in mixtape 1 and 2. Not so much in number 3. I kind of learned to kind of just sprinkle that in just to do a couple of nice little bits for a few songs. Cohesion. The mixtape feels intentional. Transition from mic check energy into something more somber shows a planned emotional arc. Hard hits. For the People, in opinion, are the backbone of the project. They have the most repeat potential. The intro is standard. It doesn't much offer upon second listen. Smile feels a bit thin compared. Smile's actually one of my favorite, but okay. Authenticity, 10 out of 10. He sounds like a Sydney kid in a room with a mic, which is very true. Replay value, it's a time capsule listen. That's fair. It's definitely a product of its time. You come back to see where he started, but compare it to his later material, the sonic quality makes it hard to keep in line with the daily rotation. The best, Cosmic Failure. It's the most honest track on the tape, the production stays out of the way, and the lyrics actually land with emotional weight. That's good. That to me is probably the best, one of the best tracks. That and Smile, which it says is the worst. But Cosmic Failure, Smile, Me, Without You are probably my 3 favorites on that. In the context of his career, the project is a rough draft. It pushed his sound forward by proving he could finish a project, but it didn't break new ground musically. Overall, a 6.5 rating. It is a respectable, authentic debut. It earns points for its lyrical integrity and a clear vision, but is held back by low-budget production and a stiff delivery that hasn't yet relaxed into. You know what? That's fair. I feel like it's generous, but it's fair. That is Uncommon Commercialism by Gemini's review. Let's move on to Grok. Alright, let's go Grok. Hello there.
Hello there.
Picked up the reference.
General Kenobi.
Oh, Grok, you're off to a great start here. The Australian rapper, Sydney-based Australian hip-hop artist. It's pulled a lot of stuff off the website, found the album. Even ask, I didn't have to tell it. Found 3 mixtapes straight up. I like this. Go on, good on you, Grok. Tell me about this first mixtape. Uncommon Commercialism. Debut mixtape 2015 and track listings from the official YouTube list. Ah, this is great. Okay, so ChatGPT couldn't find anything. Gemini kind of found the way, but Grok just straight up found everything. We're going to jump straight into it. I'm going to put down what I wanted to look for in its review, and let's see what it says. Okay, it's completed its search and it's doing the review. Uncommon Commercialism, 8 tracks. Here's a fair, unbiased breakdown following your guidelines exactly. It sounds like a classic 2010s bedroom underground hip-hop boom-bap, straightforward instrumentals and minimal processing. The production is functional but dated. Rough mixes, vocals sit too hot or uneven against the beats with noticeable compression artifacts, inconsistent levels. Yeah, wow, okay, it went real deep into the production side of things. It matches the quality of a low-budget debut mixtape from 2015. It lacks the polish, clarity, or professional mastering. The thin, amateurish sound holds it back from feeling impactful. Yep, cool, fair enough. There are attempts at introspection, but many bars stay in motivational or observational territory without digging deep. I think there's probably 2 songs I disagree with that, and those songs would be For the People and also Opinion. And spin, wordplay exists, but it's inconsistent and sometimes forced, storytelling straightforward. Okay, so it thinks it's alright. Credit, honest and relatable at times, faults, cliche, dominant, and depth rarely transcends the generic. Okay. Flow is MDP's strength here. He has a natural cadence, decent multis, and conversational style that shows his early flowetry potential. Tone is consistently sincere and enthusiastic, which fits with the mixtape's vibes. Delivery can feel stiff or overly honest with some tracks. No strong overarching theme or story, just a collection of early songs. Feels like a showcase of what he can do rather than a deliberate project. Standout tracks. Opinion. Oh, this is the one I said. And Cosmic Failure. Smile has charm in its positivity. However, you can skip Mic Check 1 2 and parts of For the People feel like standard filler. So Mic Check 1 2 is actually the first track that I recorded for this mixtape. And probably I think the 3rd track I ever actually recorded. Originality and identity. MDP sounds like himself and a storytelling focused Aussie rapper with poetic aspirations. Early identity is here, but modern day poet's voice is still forming. Replay value, low to moderate. It's short and free with a few enjoyable moments, but the data production, uneven tracks, and lack of memorable hooks means it's not something you return to. Yeah, look, that's fair. I completely get that. Best song versus worst song. Cosmic Failure or Opinion is the best, more emotional depth, better marriage of lyrics and delivery, and sense of closing reflection. Mic Check 1 2 1 2, generic, repetitive, and yeah, okay, that's fair. Now this is as MDP's very first official release, marking the start of his journey after hobby writing and local performances. Yep. Overall, 5.8 out of 10. This is a fair debut mixtape album for what it is. Raw, honest, and promising in flow and intent. Early wordplay glimpses and serving as a genuine starting point without pretense. However, faults weigh it down, dated, uneven, cliche, lacks a cohesion, and filler tracks prevent it from rising above average underground fare. Look, that's fair. ChatGPT gave it a 6.8, Gemini gave it a 6.5, Grok gave it a 5.8. What do I think of all these reviews? I think Grok's probably the closest to accurate. I would review Mixtape 1 close to like a 4.8 at best. For me, standout tracks are Me Without You, Cosmic Failure, and Smile. The rest of them, For the People I like as well, but the rest of it, yeah. look, that's a review from ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok. Tune in next time. We're going to do Mixtape 2, Coffee, Coke, and Cigarettes. Catch y'all then.